Good to go. Cool. Hi guys. I'm gonna make this really quick. Welcome to PokerVagabond Road to India. This is where I'm simply going to be just two-tabling Zoom for the meantime. My progress for the next few months, hopefully. Then eventually, when I get to India, um, then I'll still continue on. It's kind of like my first little episode. Also helps me out because then I get to go back and rewatch my own play, so that's good. So for now, this is sort of like an experiment thing. I'm actually playing on my laptop, which I don't normally do because my laptop appears to be better than my old iMac. It seems. I might have to look into that a little bit later and maybe adjust the settings in OBS, Open Broadcast Software. But for now, I'm just going to be doing this. This helps me out a fair bit. I'm also going to be talking through my decisions. So anyone who hasn't played Zoom, I'm assuming anyone who watches it probably has. Um, yeah, I'm going to go for a cheeky C-bet. Knows that as soon as you fold a hand, you get onto a new table, which is so it means you get to play a lot of hands. The bad thing with that is you don't really get a huge sample of many of the people that you play against. But it's definitely, I definitely think that if you're wanting to play a lot of hands, then it's certainly a useful tool alongside normal poker as well. But for now, as says, I'm no expert in Zoom poker at all. I'm learning just like a lot of you guys will be. I'm lucky enough that I can put a few hours of poker in every day. Sadly, my results haven't been exactly what I've been hoping for recently, which is why I'm kind of doing this as well, because it makes me think about my spots a little bit better, and that will just help in time. Earlier today, I had a bit of mad tilt. Yesterday was a great day in terms of losing. I think it was about 5 buys in the end, but most of the time, I think every time I got it in, I was favourite and just ended up the variance kind of killed me, which was fine. And then today was a bit weird, and ended up getting really angry really quickly for general unknown reasons. Um, so kind of decided to do some mental game stuff, and then from that I decided to do this. As I say, I will be making mistakes. Jack 8 offsuit against a relatively tight guy. I'm just not even going to bother. So yeah, if you're coming here to look for how to play perfect poker, then I'm definitely not the one to go to. There's a lot of better players out there. Black Rain 79, for example, Veneer, they're both awesome. But if you want to watch someone who's trying to get to that level and will make it as a professional poker player at some point, regardless, then you'll probably come to the right place. I will be making mistakes, but also I will be thinking through what I'm talking about, and hopefully if you guys end up watching me, you can see the pros and cons, I guess, of following someone who is prone to make a few mistakes here and there. So let's just get to it. Yeah, I think that's, so as you can see, everyone just folds really quickly. I'm just going to fold that. Well, he hasn't got much, so I guess I'll just bet like 25 and get it just really small. It's probably not that much, but yeah. So yeah, as I say, I'm on my laptop, so I normally have a different HUD on my main computer, and I also built some of my own pop-ups that aren't actually on this laptop. I say this is more of a pilot run just to make sure that when I record it's all going to go smoothly, which I hope it sort of is. And I can just improve from there. So anyone who hasn't been following my blog or anything, I've been playing poker for fucking ages. Probably over 10, over 10 years now. Decided to take it sort of seriously about 4 years ago. I think it was 4. But then I went traveling for 3, so it was kind of, playing it, taking it seriously, but also, never making an actual career or anything from it. And then I got back to the UK last July, so by the time this video goes up, about a year ago, and decided I wasn't going to get a normal job and I was going to play poker. At the moment, I kind of care for my dad as well, as he's a bit disabled and needs a bit of help here and there. So while I'm doing that, I'm playing poker during the day. And yes, results have been haggard. I've made no money since. So I kind of ignored the first. This is kind of a horrible spot. I'm just gonna. See, and this is another thing about Zoom. It doesn't give you that much time, and especially when you don't know if you're making the right choices or not, you end up making mistakes like that, which is fine. I don't mind a call or a fold there, but still quite tight. But yeah, so for the first, so I pretty much started trying to take it really properly in January this year, sort of, just gonna call that. You see, that's 86% of the time. But yeah, I just haven't progressed that much in the last 6 months at all. Although that's the thing with poker, you kind of never know if you really have or not. Kind of sucks sometimes, because you don't know whether you're making the right calls or right mistakes and whatnot, or whether it's just variance. I'm just gonna go for a cheeky $1.30 bet. And as most of you guys know, there's a lot to learn, so you can't really beat yourself up too much about it, even though you definitely will, and I have done many times. I've sat in my bed and fucking cried over certain shit about making mistakes and stuff. I've got angry, I've chucked glasses against the wall and all this jazz. I still think pocket 10s or pocket 9s or pocket 8s would still be called. Also suited would have called. Obviously normally queen high flush would be the bet for value, but this guy's pretty tight. He's playing 14-8. Now the question is, will he call with below 10, like pocket 10s? I think I have to go for it. I think I have to go for cheeky 125. And I think sometimes you're going to get pushed off your hand, but I guess most people, especially ones like that, wouldn't shove over the top unless they had a really strong hand. So but yeah, this is the thing, when you're playing poker, there's just all these little decisions and you don't know whether you're making the right ones, and it can get really hard sometimes, especially as most of you know, it's a pretty solo game, and there's only so much studying you can do, and even then you need to know whether you're doing the right sort of study and stuff. So if I had any advice, is just keep plodding away. It's going to be shit for ages, but hopefully one day it will all stick. Not a bad little flop. So I used to play like 6 to 8 tables. I got up to 10 at some point, and then realised I still wasn't playing very well. I used to play Zoom, and then I stopped that because I don't think it's the greatest. Just gonna fold that. Don't like playing that out of position. I don't think it's the greatest for learning, but I've also played enough of 6 to 8 tables now that yeah, I'm just gonna call there. I don't see any reason to raise it and make a really big pot. Still 160. Hopefully they'll shove with pocket 2s or something. Nice, no. Okay. So I'm obviously not folding here, but I don't like my position. Just gonna call and see. That's not another bad flop, is it? So he's folding. Alright, so this is really loose. This guy, he's only playing 10. This is the fold to steal bits. I'm just gonna raise it now. Hopefully get it in. Just want to charge for draws. Don't mind him getting it in with Nice ace king or aces or something. You can flat call there, but I don't really like to play my trips slowly at all. And no, and he gets it. And this is a thing where I believe this sort of me recording is going to help me as well. Like yesterday, what happened there happened a lot, quite a few times. And I think this morning it sort of affected my play, but now I kind of have the camera in front of me and I'm trying to explain my decisions and blah 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 blah. It's going to help me in the long run, just to keep myself calm and collected. And that's normally an easy one. I don't really get affected by getting it in good and losing. What I do get affected by is making mistakes that cost me stacks and realizing their mistakes afterwards. If any of you guys been reading my blog or anything, definitely read that. For 10 cents, I'm gonna do that. But yeah, I think that's key. Is that if you want to be successful in poker, I think this book is literally one of the biggest keys, because I think the mental game is vastly underestimated, especially in a game of poker. But yeah, but back to that, me losing that hand, it's, now I'm -5 binds for today. Probably should have only been minus. Well, to be fair, I made loads of mistakes, so it doesn't make any difference. But you just have to get on with it. Poker, that's going to happen in poker a lot. As I say, it happened to me yesterday 5 times in a row, standard, and that's probably not even much. It can probably happen loads of times in a row. You just have to get ready for it. And then when you don't get ready for it and you start tilting, you quit as soon as possible, and then start working on why you tilted and what's actually affecting you. Yeah, as I say, there's a lot of stuff in poker to improve at. So let's just get back to this. Let's get back to the actual poker hands now. I was going to try and do this on Twitch, but my computer is, as I mentioned before, pretty shit. So I'm just doing this pre-recorded. I'd love to Twitch stream live when I get to Australia. I mean India, but I don't think the internet's going to be good enough for that. So it's going to be another, hopefully, bunch of me just recording stuff and uploading it if I can find good internet access. You'd be surprised how good the internet is in India. I keep saying Australia because that's where I went before. But okay. So many people would call here saying, "Oh, you're getting a good price and whatnot," but this guy's opened early position. I mean, he hasn't got full stacks, and that kind of works for you. But I just like to fold here. I don't like to, if a queen comes down, the guy bets, you're obviously forced to call. He bets again, and you just got to fold because, you know, people are still a bit weird, but also they do like to play tight. So when we get around to the cutoff, you can start opening up a bit. I certainly need to try that, so you might see me trying bits of opening up. And he flat calls. I should have seen that really. Okay, so now I've got something. I just want to get to showdown cheaply, to be honest. I don't really want to bet and get called by an ace. Obviously, I could charge spades, so I don't mind the bet, but I prefer to just play it a little bit more cautiously. Especially against a 29-19, he's going to bet. He's going to call a bet, and then you're going to be checking back that, and then the turn, and then you might just fire a bet because you showed weakness. So don't mind a little bet here now. Get a bit of value from maybe a jack. And as I mentioned before, guys, like I'm definitely no expert. I will be making mistakes and everything like that, and that's fine. Mistakes, they're just full of them in poker, and you just gotta get used to them. Just gonna fold that. This is a bit of a weird one. Short stack. He's under the gun. You could call, but then you're just inviting a squeeze. But no one seems to be. I'm gonna call. This is like a spot where I don't love a raise, obviously, but a fold or a call isn't the worst thing. And there's no reason to inflate the pot anymore. I'm not going anywhere. 5 to a straight as well. Now you can choose to bet, but then I'm like, what are you getting called by? I prefer just to check and maybe him induce a bluff. Now I can bet 60. You know, he might get called by 8s or something. Just going to bet small, 50. Could have 9s. Ace queen, ace king might randomly decide to call. You never know. Let's fold all this sort of garbage hands. They kind of look pretty, but no point. Playing out of position obviously is just the worst, so try and avoid it as much as you can. As I say, I've only been playing Zoom again recently, so I still don't know the adjustments that need to be made. And making adjustments is I can be pretty bad, should we say, at it because I don't know which adjustments to make. So I make rash adjustments, and then I get tilty if I make like bad adjustments on the spot. So I'm trying to notice when adjustment needs to be made and maybe think about it before making it, especially if I've got a few thousand hands on a player. So I like Zoom because you can just fold all the garbage and get a hand straight away. But obviously, and that's also a reason why there's lots of fish here. They do play a bit tighter because it's naturally just a bit easier to play tighter when you're folding, when you can just fold hands and get new hands quickly. Um, so yeah, I would play against most players pretty standard ABC, you know, the standard bullshit that everyone says, make your big hand and keep betting it, and you know, pot control your small hands. All very simple advice, which doesn't really mean much after you've played 50,000 hands and you need a little bit more guidance. But for now, that's the best sort of way. I like to just flat with tens. I don't really see any point in raising. I could be wrong, and obviously against certain opponents. As he bets 70, I'm going to call Lisa Street. I think he's going to be doing that with most of his range. Now he checks. Don't mind checking back for a bit of pot control. And I'll probably call most normal size bet on the river. It's when they start betting pot where it gets a bit tricky. 110. Let's just see what we can beat here. Well, we don't know anything about the Blair. You could be doing that with lots of random hands. You know, the ace kings, the ace queens. I think I'm gonna have to call. And he's got queen jack. And this is where those little mistakes can really add up. Yeah, and they can add up really fast as well. You just have to try and recognize when they're mistakes and when it should be a call. Let's have a look. Hopefully I'm just gonna. I don't really like getting blown off my hand. I don't mind checking it. So I'm just picking my nose there. Get the cameras on. Whoa. Wow. And so normally on my computer I then write a note there. I can probably bring this down a bit. It's a bit tight on my little laptop. But I won't do it now. But you could just say, check back. Made full house on river. Oh, actually, was there 2 4s and 2 5s? This makes it a little bit harder to write notes, just being on the laptop, obviously. Not that I write too many, but point in betting there for value. So yeah, I have to go through my my HUD. It might change a little bit as I need to update the one from my computer onto this one. But these are raised first in by position, early position, middle position, cut off button, small blind. This is 3-bet, fold the 3-bet, 4-bet range, and fold the 4-bet. Okay. Now these are the tricky spots where everyone would say 3-bet, but then you're playing queens out of position against someone who doesn't fold often at all. His cold call is 70 though, so I'm gonna raise it up. Oh no, that's not 70 because I'm an idiot and haven't changed it yet. Yep, should have done that before I started. Okay. Now you could c-bet and try and take it down, but I don't really feel the need for c-betting. What's going on there? Laptop's going crazy. You have to call once, don't you? And this is where I'm probably making a fair few drastic mistakes. And then you just kind of have to fold, don't you? It's not being anything. Then I could have c-betted the flop with the king, but he's already called a squeeze, which is already fishy enough as it is. I don't mind betting here. Pretty uncoordinated board. Take that down probably often enough. And he's decided to check raise. Obviously, I'm getting out of there. It's a tight player anyway. I'm over how do I have a check raise stat as well? Not like I haven't used it yet, but I'm just put it there just to build up me looking at it. I don't know why my laptop is doing that. It's quite annoying. 2 seconds. Hopefully that will stop it. I don't know if you could hear that beeping. Obviously I'm getting out of that. No, it didn't stop anything. This does not bode well. Just going to take that out for now. Make another plug here, as I have 2 different laptops. Let me just try this one, because that one's actually for my Australian laptop. Get it in time. Just fold those. Here's the steal as well. And there's a fold to 3-bet. Don't really see the point in that. Call up there. And this is an interesting spot if you would have c-bet, because you kind of have to call. Someone give him 3 cards. Obviously now I want to try and get value. Just gonna bet 40. Hopefully he's got aces and he's slow playing him, but nope. Oh yeah, and here is the c-bet and turn c-bet. have to change these as well, so they only come up after a certain amount of hands. Well, that shouldn't be happening at home, should it? Don't know what's going on here, folks. Well, I expected India, not bloody. There's another thing that can induce tilt as well. It's just when shit like this happens, it can start just building up that rage inside of you. I've had it happen to me before, and I can kind of feel it a bit now, especially when I'm trying to, film something. Yep, and the internet's gone. But these are all things you just have to deal with. I mean, I shouldn't have to be dealing with it in my own home, but what are you gonna do? I used to play a lot at a cafe, but I had to stop because I just kept getting this all the time. And that's the bad thing about playing on a table's closed as well. Okay, you start again. Or not. See when something's not happening. There's all these things that I think I have to especially just make sure they don't boil over, because obviously this is now turning into a bit of a chore. Nothing's clicking. Internet's gone again. Shows you not to go on version, does it? Right. Well, it's recorded for half an hour. I obviously wanted to play longer than that. There we go. So I just have to take some deep breaths and get back into it. Because things like that can really, really start bugging you. Doesn't help when you're trying to play, trying to get them focused and think about the game, and you get stupid fucking internet connections dropping and everything. If I was at the cafe, I'd do 3 drops and I stop playing and make sure I have a backup plan. But I've stopped playing a lot at the cafe now, simply because it was dropping out so much and just couldn't get no flow. I think you get around 400 players during the day on Zoom. Yeah, also be careful that obviously you're playing a lot more hands, so variance can be a lot more brutal. I've found, and obviously recently when it hasn't gone too well for me, it's especially brutal. Sometimes I don't mind. I should have done more than that. I was getting scared by the timer. Yeah, sometimes I don't mind flat calling if someone's going to fold a lot to the raise, but okay, so he probably hasn't got an ace. But I feel like checking that back is probably the best thing to do. Really want to put some money in the pot, but I don't think he's got anything. I just want him to commit a mistake. And I can just get it in now. Cool. So he did have an ace in the end, so my lucky 2-outer works both ways, as we all know. I also like to just take a bit of time when I'm folding. Obviously not all the time, sometimes I'm clicking like mad. But sometimes just, yeah, I've got 2-9 and I'm not going to do anything, but just slow it down a bit. Chapin's 10% from the position. Just going to fold it. I'd probably flat call with ace queen, but I just think ace king, ace jack is just too weak a hand to, like this. I'm going to call. There might be reasons to call ace jack, but especially when I act so quickly after him, and then there could be a squeeze like there is now. Obviously, he could be squeezing with lots of stuff, but I've got no information on him. I've got a dubious hand, should we say? So I'm just going to fold it. So some people like to 4-bet ace king, and I will against certain opponents. Definitely not against someone who hasn't played a hand in 6 hands. So just a flat call. And normally I fold to 3 bets, but obviously this is just too much money in the pot. And obviously looking to get value with a set. Not going to continue anymore in the hand. I'm a little bit worried about this. Obviously you could have aces, but you could have ace king as well. Well, now I'm not going anywhere, even if he's got jacks. Now the question is, can I raise it for value? Now if I do raise, what am I going to get called by? Well, I think I have to. Yeah, let's get it in. He might have jacks. Yeah, he's got ace king. Wouldn't mind a large pot to go my way. It seems like it's been a while. This guy plays quite a lot of hands. I don't really see the point of. Let's just fold steal. Just folded. He's only played one before. I'm just gonna fold. There might have been a mistake there, but with not that much information in a pretty shitty hand, knowing that if I was on the button, that would have been a definite raise. But no, I'm gonna be playing the hand out of position against someone who's probably gonna call. I don't really want to do that. So min raise. I'm just gonna call that. Doesn't look like me playing on the laptop is good. I might need to get a cable. A donk bet and a raise, obviously not going to stay there. He falls to 100. Yeah, don't think so. All these calls coming. Now, this is interesting. I've obviously got pot pair, but I don't want to build a huge pot out of position against 3 other guys. So I am going to check, actually, just try and keep the pot a little bit smaller, because I don't think I could stand a raise. I would hate a raise. I feel a little bit sick. This way I get a lot more information. Not really sure what information, but and this is where it kind of is a bit haggard. Kind of just a horrible spot. 3 other guys. Obviously, these guys can definitely have sets easily. So I think I have to call this one bet. You could be doing it with draws. Not that I know that you will, but his aggression factor is 4.8. So I'm going to call that. Not the greatest card for us either, I'm going to have to say. I'm just going to check. I think I have to call unless he shoves it. And if he shoves, I think that's a fold. I think I've got 500 hands on him. Then he got to the river twice to see that. What else is he doing that with? Obviously I'm chopping with ace king. But he must think that I'm on ace king. I look like I'm on ace king. He's on 10s or 8s, I think. Now this might be a call in some eyes. But I think I've played enough to think that this is a fold. Like, overbet shoving. He's just not scared of a king at all. So he's either got one, which is very unlikely because I have one. And this is where you can go into combinatronics, whatever you call it, which I don't know very much about. I'm going to fold. And I think while it hurts a lot, when you put it all together, it kind of makes sense. Now, obviously, he could think that I haven't got a king, and he could be shoving. He could think I've got like aces or something, so I need to check through. But then you've also got to think he's clearly not scared about that king. It's an interesting spot. I could try and put it into Flopzilla and see. It's gonna like that. Yeah, I think anyone who overbets the river on the end is just trying to get a call from that king. Trying. And you also got to think about pre-flop as well. What kind of kings can he have in his range that would probably do that with? You'd think he would 3-bet ace king pre, which means he's got what, king, queen, king, jack? That might be. And this is where poker can be a bastard, where you never really are quite sure whether you've made the right decision or not. And everyone can chuck in their opinions, but you never know because you never speak to the guy. I think it was a correct fold, but I could have been horribly, horribly wrong. If you look at the combinatronics, what was it? You could have a set of 8, set of 10s. Was it? So how many? That's 6. Is that 12 combos or something? I don't know. I haven't done much combinatronics, but say it's 12 combos, and there's only I don't know. I don't know. I'll be interested to hear what people have to say. I just don't think you're shoving all that without the nuts in that situation. So minus 16, but should be +3. Really not going great this last couple of days. I've -40 earlier today, -40 or 50 yesterday. Just when my month is coming to an end, where I have to post up my results. So definitely not looking great for me at all. And I think that fold that came from the Ace King earlier is where a lot of your winnings will just disappear if you keep making calls like that, where you think I've got trip kings, I'm gonna call, because gotta look at what the other person can have. Have to. Now I'm not saying I was 100% right about that. Some people say I'm an idiot for folding that, but maybe that's why I'm losing at poker at the moment. But I think you have to be willing to make those tough calls, those tough folds. Come on, poker. So I'm just going to do 5 more minutes. I'll make these episodes, or whatever the hell they are, 45 minutes long, I reckon. Ooh, sorry guys. Got my nice world map in the background. It look quite cool. Which kind of suits my videos, doesn't it? So here, this guy's folding to 93%. I will just be opening any 2 cards here. And now he calls. I mean, I'm just giving up. You can try and c-bet. I just don't think it's worth it. These guys probably got pocket pairs or just some broadways, and I don't think even broadways are going to be folding straight up. He's got to have something if he's folding 93% at the other times. Didn't see how many hands I had on him, but once again, it was on 100 fold. But yet again, it's only out of 3, so one's going to raise it up again. Just keep barring him until they say something different. The lull in the poker, as always. I think we'll call that time. Just sit out the last ones. We're holding quite a lot. It's quite a loose open in the cutoff here. I don't really like opening unsuited aces and stuff, but he seemed to be folding a lot to steals. 94% out of 16. Don't know if that takes the button into consideration, but even so, he's not doing much on the button. He hasn't 3-bet on the button at all, so I don't mind a raise, try and take the blinds down ever so often. Obviously I'm folding now, but I think that was probably a profitable decision in the long run. Probably. relieve. That would be nice. Sometimes I do 40, but he's short stack, so sometimes I do 45. Hopefully someone will just gonna get it in. I think just getting it in there is fine. Might call with a flush or a jack or something. But he's got his set. Hope that's the last hand, because that'd be pretty funny. And it was. Perfect. Alright, so not the greatest start of what I would have liked to have been a positive session, but you know, you can't really say much when you're getting your kings in and whatnot. Obviously we had that interesting decision about the kings, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And I think that's it for now. Yeah, so this has been Poker Vagabond, the Road to India, episode 1. Yeah, hopefully I'll be doing these once a week or something. Then I can look back on them to see if I've made right decisions, and I can use them, as well as you guys, to show sort of what it's like for a sort of up and coming wannabe poker player. Anyway, take care, guys. See ya.